Okay.
Okay, so you just take with the roots of it.
All right. So let me know which question you guys have.
Give me anything. I liked the last few because at first I looked at it and I was like, what in the world am I supposed to do? And then I was like, oh, it's an integral.
Yep, it's not hard. Herbie, hurry up. You should be going over the homework. You're playing with your robotic arm.
Okay.
How you get negative?
Hey, why the negative, bro?
Why is it you?
No,
it's negative.
Take
derivative of.
what did I do? Because I know that I was trying to figure
He's
out.
right.
What I.
All right, which question you guys have for homework? Come on.
Okay, actually, no, I did like 105. I want to know.
Oh, I
Could you
got
go
it.
over 105? Because I want to see if I did it the same way that you did.
What's the e to the what?
It's 5 minus e to the x over
5 minus e to the x.
over e to the 2x.
Over what?
E to the 2x.
Oh, the top one is just EX.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this one this is light work.
Yeah.
Light work, light work. Dx. Now those two separate integral here. If you want to do 5 e to the negative 2x minus e to the negative x dx. And here u equal to negative 2x, du equal to negative 2 dx. Du over negative 2 equal to dx. A lot of people don't write down dx. It's really important. That's going to be 5 e to the u du over negative 2 minus e to the u. And that's going to be negative as well, because that's going to give you a negative 1. So that is going to be 5 over negative 2 e to the u du plus integration e to the u du. So it'll be 5 over negative 2 e to the negative 2x plus c, and then plus e to the negative x plus c. Super easy, super easy. Next question.
Because you subtract powers. Yeah, I did something weird for that one.
For the end part, why is the second e to the power of negative? Not
It's a negative x here. U is equal to negative x. Because u equal to negative x here. It's two separate integrals.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Let me know which question you guys have.
I didn't know what to do for
125? Okay. 125. He's really excited. A 125. Finding area. So just gonna graph it. e to the x is like this. And it's gonna be y equal to 0, so it's this part. X equal to 0, this part. And the x equal to 5, so it's this part. So they are basically trying to find area underneath this. So it'll be integration of 0 to 5 e to the x dx. So it'll be e to the 5 minus e to the 0. So it'll be e to the 5 minus 1.
You scroll up a little bit.
What did you?
I
Why are you touching my? I just watched you blow your nose.
Oh, I went like this.
Nah, bro.
I didn't touch
You want to use my charger now?
No, go home.
Here. All the bacteria is on the charger.
You need to. I'd be so gross.
How much you think?
Hey.
Charger has virus. COVID.
How your phone get like that? She made xenophobic.
Touch.
Xeno. You think just because we're Chinese, like we got
Yeah.
out of here? Race. But you know, last year. He came up to me, teach me Korean. And then he started speaking like, yo. What show you can't see. That's what Chinese expression. You got it.
All right, next question. Yeah. Huh? I sent out to everybody. You get it? Okay. Integration of e to the negative x tangent of e to the negative x dx. I will set u equal to e to the negative x. Du equal to negative e to the negative x dx. So be e to the negative x tangent of u. And this one's going to be du over negative e to the negative x. This cancel out. Negative tangent of u du. You need to know how to take integration of tangent. Is it on the test? It's going to be negative cosine of x. Or cosine e to the x. And this will change it to positive. So it'll be ln of cosine of e to the x plus c. You have to know integration of tangent.
Not.
108, I did a something last period. So I'm not going to do it again. I'll show you what's my solution though. 108. I think this one here is I got 1/2 e minus 1 over e squared. That's a definite integral. I will set u equal to secant of x. Secant of 2x. So secant 1, this one.
did it right.
Yeah.
Yippee.
Next question. One more before I go. Okay, one more thing is, remember 2 days ago I have this question. I will put this question on the test, so you might want to write it down. 2 days ago I have says e to the 2x, that was y. And I say find the area, no, the area between x equal to 0 and x equal to k. The area is equal to 3. You guys remember that? So how would I set up this question? Integral 0 to k e to 2x dx.
My brain is brains.
I do not remember.
This is 2 days ago's homework. It should just use substitution. So 2x du equal to 2 dx. Du over 2 equal to dx. And then this one's going to be 2k. This one's 0. So it'll be e to the u. Du over half between 0 to 2k is e equal to 3. Yep.
So like, since k is like unknown, how would you like know if the boundaries?
Well, we are gonna find
We're
out what k
solving for
is.
K.
We're solving for k.
Well, like, it doesn't matter if it's bottom.
It matters. This one's on the top
How would you know?
because this is you want an
It's
area.
the
If you
order,
do
I think.
k to 0, that's gonna be negative area.
I think
Because
it's also the order that it gives you in the question is it gives you bottom and top.
Oh, since k is a negative, I mean it has to be greater than
Mhm. I can multiply by 2 on both sides, so it's 6. So it'll be e to the 2k minus e to the 0 equal to 6. E to the 2k minus 1 equal to 6. E to the 2k equal to 7. 2x is equal to ln of 7. X equal to ln of 7 over 2. So this is the k value. The k value. So on the test, I will ask you k value. This is a good test question, by the way. Yeah. I multiply 2 on both sides to get rid of 1/2 in the front. Okay, today's stuff is kind of complex, so you might need to stay awake. Last period, a couple people fall asleep, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's boring stuff, but it's okay." We are gonna find the inverse derivative. Now, I'm gonna review some algebra 2. How do you find inverse function?
You swap x and y.
Hold on a second. So can you find inverse function of 2x over x minus 4? I want you to find the inverse function. Now, if you're from Cooper, more likely you know how to find inverse function. If you're from Ollie, then it should be the other way around.
It should be the inverse, if you will. Probably. I can guarantee you there's been at least one stream where he talks about
What's your algebra 2 teacher?
Mr. Olive.
He's I think he's here.
It's hard to pay attention, Kobe.
On some final exam, he didn't make me turn my camera. On FaceTime, my friend who looks at math way.
That's crazy.
Got a 95 on the on today.
Well, yeah, because you use back play.
Photo math will be faster, right? Because you don't have to type in. She just
What
give you
happened when you
exact
determine that
thing.
photo math does it wrong
Using
sometimes?
too much math way, bro. I'm feeling like shit.
This period doesn't photo math do it wrong?
But you can I know, but you said X equal to Y.
Did she say please? Did she say
X
please?
equals
Yeah,
2y
she's like, guys,
over y
please
minus
let's
4.
not use photo.
Nah, she's too nice, man.
She's too soft.
Then you solve for y.
So I'm gonna take out 10%. I'm gonna still get 90 though.
You have to be an idiot to not. She gave a study guide the exact same to the test the day before.
Wait, are you talking about
Davies?
No, Miss Davies.
Yeah, Miss
Brody's
Davies.
the same too.
And then you get 100% test corrections too. Like,
Yeah.
You gotta be.
Miss
And you could
Davies
use
was
like math
easy.
on the test corrections too.
It's only gonna take 10% off.
Yeah.
That's like you had to be bad at math, not cheat. All right, take 10 point off. I'm gonna get an A. So I'm gonna cheat.
It was like multiple choice questions.
So now you solve for y.
Okay, how do you find the inverse derivative? So first of all, I want you to find inverse functions. How do you find inverse function? Now let's talk about what an inverse function. In which condition you can have inverse function. So condition to have inverse function, you have to know. The condition for to have inverse function is 1. It has to be one-to-one function. Now a lot of people don't understand what's one-to-one function. It just means that it doesn't have two of the same outputs. So, and if you don't understand that, it's okay. I'm gonna talk about a second definition or second condition. There must means a monotonic. What does monotonic mean? One alcohol, one drink, one shot of tonic. No, no, it's not drink. Monotonic means the function either strictly. How to spell strictly?
Strict.
Yes.
Increasing or decreasing, but not both. So you cannot function go down and up. So parabola,
X squared.
yeah, parabola cannot have an inverse function unless you cut it to halfway. Third, it must pass horizontal line test. So if you cannot pass horizontal line test, you cannot. So parabola cannot pass horizontal line test, so you cannot have an inverse function. Yeah. Okay, so the result of inverse function. The nice thing about a result is the first result is really nice. You are basically swap x and y values between f of x and f inverse of x. Second, you must have a symmetry to y equal to x. Both graph has symmetry to y equal to x. Third, f of g of x, in this case, f of f inverse of x is equal to x, or f inverse of f of x is equal to x. They're always equal to x. Now let's talk about how do you find inverse. First, you set f of x is equal to y. So y equal to 2x over x minus 4. Is that okay? And then you swap x and y. So it's swap. So that means everywhere you have y, you solve for x. And then third thing is solve for y. Now solve for y require a little bit more steps. So I'm gonna do multiply both sides by y minus 4. It's like a pig problem. Xy minus 4x equal to 2y. Move the xy to the other side. Factor out a y. And the y is equal to negative 4x over 2 minus x. This one's going to be f inverse of x is equal to negative 4x over 2 minus x, or 4x over x minus 2. That means same thing. I just distributed to the bottom. Is that okay? So that's called inverse function. Now I'm going to show you the graph of the inverse function and the original function. I'm going to show you what's the difference. I'm hungry. So I'm going to grab 2x over x minus 4. So 2x over x minus 4. And I'm going to grab the inverse, which is 4x over x minus 2. Now I want you to see, did you see something there of the table? Do you see something that is interesting? What do you see? They flip, right? X and Y flip, right? 2 over third is 0.6666667. So if I type in 2/3, then it's going to give you -2, which is exactly like the first coordinate. And not only that, you have y equal to x. Do you see that there's symmetry lines between two?
And the only place where they intersect are on y equals x. At least in that case.
In this case, yes. I don't think they have to intersect though. Like, so for example, e to the x, they will not intersect. In natural log of x,
But
they're
if
not.
it intersects, it would have to be on that line.
Yes, because x and y has to be the same, yeah. But they don't have to. They don't have to have that. Now, now I'm gonna plug in all those points here. I'm plugging all those points here. Now-
Oh, and that's why you can't have it go up and down, because otherwise then it doesn't pass the vertical line test.
So now if you got here, right? Let's pick this point for the red point, and let's pick the slope for this part. So the slope is probably something like this. So it's probably, let's say, this is slope is -3. And slope of this point, that equivalent point here, I'm gonna use the green for this part. This slope is gonna look like something like this. -1/3. So you see the relationship here are reciprocal to each other. They just flip. Now, what's nice thing of knowing this? Oh, Asian steaks. Patient six.
Again, it's all centered around this front corner.
Asian people, bro. I need to get away from them.
Chase is also they consider themselves white.
Join me, Chase.
I'm a hot tea.
Okay, so you see that -3 and -1/3. That's very, very important relationship that for you to understand. So which just means that there's a special relationship between special relationship between those two. So I'm gonna write it down. G prime of x is equal to 1 over f prime of g of x. See that 1 over is reciprocal. Now they say f of x and g of x are inverse to each other. Okay, g of x and f of x are inverse to each other. Is that okay so far? Now you see that -3 and -1/3, they are just reciprocal. So by understanding that part, it's actually very interesting. Is sometimes I'm gonna give you a function. It's not possible to find the inverse function. It's just not possible.
So then you just take the reciprocal.
Yes, but it has to be a small plot twist there. So here's a question. F of x equal to x to the third plus 2x minus 1. And we say, hey, it's possible to find f inverse of prime of 2. Is it possible for me to find f inverse prime of 2? Some of you guys are going to be like, oh yeah, I can do it. I just take a derivative. When I find the inverse function and I take a derivative of that. There's a small issue with that because it's not possible to find the inverse in this particular case.
That's it. Doubles back.
You can try it. Y equal to x cubed plus 2x minus 1. X equal to y cubed plus 2y minus 1. Is it possible to solve for y here? Well, you cannot get y by itself. So this method of finding inverse is not practical. So you cannot find the inverse. However, like I'm going to list this chart. This chart is very important to help you solve problems. This chart of x, f of x here, and there's x and there's a g of x here, and g of x equal to f inverse of x. So we say it's f of x or inverse of that. So this 2, this means I have 2 here. Does that make sense? But if that's 2, can we figure out, if since they have a coordinate swap, can you figure out when y equal to 2, at original function? So I'm going to do that. It turns out there's no there is no a practical way to solve for this, because if I set equation equal to 0, it's not factorable. It's not factorable. So not factorable. So not able to solve. That's not true. You can. The most original method of any type on the SAT, if you don't know how to do something, plug and check, right? Which value I can plug in to be whole truth in this case? X must equal to what?
2.
Not 2.
Oh. 1.
Huh? Why?
Because if you move the 3 over and you plug in 1 to x,
X must equal to what? Must. Because 1 to the cube plus 2 times 1 equal to 3. 3 minus 3 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 1. Is that okay? Huh? Where do I get 2? 2 is equal to here. 2 is from there. And when I equal to 2, I can solve for it. But due to plug and check. Due to plug and check. So that sometimes there's only one way to solve. And most of the time you can solve. This is one of the cases that you cannot solve, which is a harder case. Well, think about x equal to 0, x equal to 1. Now what you can do is use that formula. So we're going to take this formula. We're going to copy it. We're going to paste it right here. Ideally, I want to find out what's g prime of 2, right? So that means 1 over f prime of g of 2. Well, we know what the g of 2 is according to this table. Because this is equal to 1. And this is equal to 1. So that's going to be 1 of f prime of 1. And if I just take a derivative of f of x equal to x to the cube plus 2x minus 1. F prime of x is equal to 3x squared plus 2. And the f prime of 1 is equal to 3 times 1 squared plus 2. That's equal to 5. So the answer is 1 over 5. Now, I didn't even find the inverse function. I already find the derivative because I understand the relationships. So this is the question I want you to find. F of x equals square root of x minus 4. I want you to find f inverse prime at 2. Now building this table is really important. This means 1. This table is to help you to solve a problem. Because you know that x and y is going to swap coordinates. So in that case, I can solve by plug and chug. Not all the time you have to plug and chug. Just plug in until it makes sense. All right, come on, let's find the answer. Build a table, it'll help you solve the problem.
Can you go back to the table?
Sure.
Mr. Yang, could you explain how you did the table again? That'd be a hard time.
Remember, they were asking. What are they asking? They were asking that at 2, right? At inverse at 2, right? So 2 is the original function. The output's 2. So I plug in 2 on the output. I plug in 2 here. And I solve for it. So I plug in 2 equal to this. I find out when x is equal to 1. So this is 1. That's the only time it makes sense. Now I'm going to go to here. That's 1. So g of 2 is actually 1, which g of 2 is actually 1. So I become f prime of 1. And I just take a derivative, plug in 1. Yeah. That way, because there's no specific way to solve that particular situation. You just take a number, see which number makes sense. The only number that makes sense is this is a 1. This number is 1 to the third plus 2 times 1. So that's equal to 2 and 1. And that's the only way to get 0. There's no factor way to solve it or synthetic division to solve it. No, you set it equal to 6 equal to 2 and to solve for 0. And think about which situation is going to give me zeros. What? The table is to help you find out this is 2, this is 2. Now you find out 1, then you find out the y value at the inverse function. No, we're trying to find out g of 2, not find out g of x at 2.
Oh, so we can do the f of x then? So...
Yeah.
Okay.
Four is good. If you got 4, it's good. Jeez. You're good at math.
Wait,
You just didn't have a good teacher.
I somehow got x equals root 6. I feel like that's not the answer.
No, it's not. Men, do you know I used to chase him down?
Yeah, he told us this for like the first week of school.
I was like, Chase, come take Calc 1 with me.
And
And he's like, no.
Made it.
Raised why, but your roots are stuck.
He was in the stats. He was in the stats. I was like, you are taking Calc with me. I keep on brainwashing. He takes stats last year. He didn't take pre-cal last year. Did you take pre-cal? That's crazy. You didn't even take pre-cal. You didn't even do pre-cal. You're one of the students in this squad didn't take pre-cal. Oh, Anthony too. You know,
Oh, Anthony's cheating.
you're same class as Anthony.
Cheating though.
Wait,
Veda didn't take it either. So, all right. So let's talk about 2, right?
no,
So x, f of x, and this is the x, the g of x. So this is 2, so that means this is 2, right?
yeah.
So 2 equal to square root x minus 4. I can solve for this in this case. I just 4 equal to x minus 4, x equal to 8. Okay, so that's 8 here. That means this is 8.
Wait, why'd you just get rid of the?
You got square both sides.
Wait,
Even square both sides.
That's not done yet though.
where'd the root go?
I square both sides.
Oh,
Yep, answer is 4. So that's f. This is g prime of x is equal to
oh,
1
I see
over
what I
f
did wrong.
of g prime of 2. So I figure out what f prime of 2 is. So f prime of 8, right? Now I can figure out what f of x. F of x equal to root x minus 4. F prime of x equal to 1/2 x minus 4 to the negative 1/2 times 1. So 1/2 times 8 minus 4 to the negative 1/2 times 1. So it'll be 1 over 4. So 1 over 1 over 4 is equal to 4. So the answer is 4 here.
what I did, because I realized that you could do the
Finding inverse.
find inverse. So then I did that, and then I tried to solve for f of x instead of solving for just
Yeah, it's
G of
the
X.
problem is most of the question I'm gonna give it to you is not able to find.
yeah. This one.
This one you
was.
can. You're gonna
Yeah,
find the exact
and
same
that,
answer.
that's what made me confused because I was trying to do the process from the last step, but with the wrong equation.
You were sick before you come in. Though.
I don't know if it's an app or
Yeah, that's what I did. Well, I did it after I figured out. Yeah, because that's correct. There's two
Hold on.
ways to do it. This is the two-
Maddie have something to ask. Okay, so g prime of x is equal to 1 over f prime of g of x. So we find out what the f of 2 is. F of g of 2 is. G of 2 is 8. So then you take a derivative of f of x, plug in 8. Huh? Because due to this opposite coordinate. So this is 2, right? And this is 2. So I plug in 2 for f of x. I solve for y. This is 8. The 8 is going to result to here because they have coordinate. They swap the coordinates.
Why would they do that? Oh, it looks like it was just this one.